Okay, let's dive into the dental news for this week. Interesting article that came out coming out of Norway, where they are looking at new treatment modalities for burning mouth syndrome. It's super interesting that this story came out because when we opened our practice back in 2010, and we had a few patients that came in for burning mouth, and we were seeking guidance from oral medicine experts to help guide in our decision making. Do we need to do pharmaceutical prescriptions? How do we guide these patients to get some relief? And the recommendation at the time was a Tabasco sauce and baking soda mixture in water, and do like a swish treat of the tongue a couple of times a day. And I will tell you, hands down, it worked. So if you want the recipe for that particular concoction, I can certainly share it with you. Well, lo and behold, there's more research coming out now that actually the combative or opportunity for therapeutics for burning mouth is coming from capsaicin. We know capsaicin to be the element within peppers and other hot foods that creates that burning sensation in the mouth. Oddly enough, it is starting to show that capsaicin may be a key to potentially being able to treat burning mouth syndrome. There are some countries that are using it as an off-label use, but now there's more momentum to try to get capsaicin approved for oral mucous membrane treatment so that we can treat burning mouth syndrome. I thought that was super interesting and only validated this crazy thing that I learned, 15 years ago about Tabasco and baking soda being this magic concoction for burning mouth syndrome. I will absolutely put the recipe up for everybody. Second news story of the day. I thought this whole synopsis of data was super cool. So let's go through a little bit of data points. I want to give you kind of a brief update of where dental schools are and what the future supply of dentists look like. And this is provided to us by the ADA. 10,877 is the current shortage of dentists in the US, according to the Health Resources and Services Administration. That is based on a dentist per X amount in the population. Currently, we have 536 dentists in the US. That is up from 165 in 2002. 60.8 is the current number of dentists per 100,000 in the US population. The projected number in 2040, it is projected to be 67 per 100,000. So we're going upwards. Hopefully, I think, and the intention is to close the gap of the shortage. Last year in 2022, there were 6,745 new dental grads that entered the marketplace. That is up 7% from 2018. 6,500 is the total number of first-year enrollment in 22-23. That is up 4.2% from 2018 to 2019. 22 versus 7. That's the number of dental school openings compared with closings in the last 50 years. The last school to close was in 2001, and that was Northwestern University Dental School. And the most recent opening of a dental school was Kansas City University College of Dental Medicine, which opened in June of 23. 40% is the share of dentists age 55 and older, which reached a peak around 2013 to 2016. I'm guessing a good number of those individuals left the marketplace during COVID. 88% is the percent of inflows who have been new U.S. dental school graduates in the last 10 years. The remaining inflows are foreign trained dentists, established dentists who reactivated an expired license, and dentists who came out of retirement. And the last statistic, 48.4% versus 51.6%. Male graduates versus female graduates in the year 2021. A lot of interesting statistics that we could glean from that particular amount of information. Certainly does look like the marketplace is pushing for more and more dentists to be in the population. I think there is some concern from those who lived through the 1980s and saw many of those schools close, and we sort of shrunk back the number of dentists we were putting in the marketplace. Will this be a repeat performance? Too early to tell quite yet, but it does look like, at least if you are operating in highly competitive areas, that competition is probably only going to get worse at least for the foreseeable future. The last two items push us right back to DC with some legislative issues. It's been kind of quiet for the summer, but they've decided to pick it back up. The first was a notification that came out from the House Ways and Means Committee Chairman, Jason Smith, who released an request of information or request for proposal from anyone who wanted to share information about access to care issues and disparities in healthcare access throughout the US and underserved communities. That RFI is due by October 5th. So if you have an interest or are participating in community health centers or in programs that are helping serve underserved communities in an impactful way, it would be wonderful if you could share that information with the House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith. And that information is available on the AGD advocacy page. And I can share that for everyone if you're interested. Why is this important? My guess is that this is coming on the heels of a pretty active season for access to care and bringing up the workforce population in the medical field, dental being included. There is another bipartisan bill that came out just this week called Lower Cost, More Transparency Act. It is a bipartisan supported piece of legislation that is intended to address both workforce disparities in underserved communities, but also transparency in pricing and to try to help improve the access to care through pricing structure for patients. So it's a multifaceted bill. It's trying to accomplish quite a few things in the healthcare industry. My guess is some of this inquiry coming out of the House Ways and Means Committee has a lot to do with this particular bill that came out this week. There seems to be a lot of interest in access to care in the medical industry, and there's definitely a workforce compression. It's not just dental, they're seeing it in medical as well. And I think even as a consumer, I'm feeling it. When you try to book an appointment now with a physician, you could try today to get an appointment for next summer as a new patient. So there absolutely is an access to care issue. What the options will be to solve it is still to be determined, but the legislature is taking it up as a concern to see if they can find answers or provide funding and support in those areas to improve upon those programs that seem to be working for their communities. So with that, that's the news.